Islamic school. Na yan konkofa sa Abu Numan or no sa where president where judge for the Sharia judge also be non konkofa makaranta obi that makes them extremists because they all catch on when say untimi the Ghana schools ni nyina entimi konko Sharia Ghana schools ni nyina entimi ko karatu dia and ya wono babeko that has been the basis. It is just a matter na leader Sir Jenin leader no Eliad Agali no Eliad Agali had persistently since the 2017 declared by the Americans as what a terrorist.
Okay.
One of the global terrorists no. And they have money to do all this nonsense they are doing. But for him to tell the Ghanaians and he said whether they sadly in the cold-blooded killed himself we are your enemy. Now washing mocha, no washing tomato. What is it for? They are only provoking Ghana government.
Okay. And it's the message so benya brewa bra yebeko na chese yakwa enjoy the full video. In fact we team so video we are pay ne mu kakra bi ana chese medin kan play amwati ne medin kan so aka cha say ensema ekoso wo mai ma se de doson bibiri na ana ekoso na de bekoso bi anso no yebebo ne se yebeden nam chese media ne so na chese ya pay the best and the right content na de aba somo wa hase se be ya wona wo hwe chese dwumadi enso ebehu ensema ekoso no wanyam enchiremu panso ye ne sent no ana me video we esomo ne yebeko ne akwa enjoy the full video akwa hwe de aka no e de atoaso meso sansana no wadaroma se wunya subscribe from my YouTube channel ya na wodo nsabo subscribe button so ma muhia na turn on the bell notification icon no adoma na the video no chese subscribe button enchen no oboson e de mamia se be ya next time bia me drop video eto channel so an se be ka bi enten so nsema ekoso wo Ghana de etoso se wanti we ntem ansan so antwen so an wa bra chese me di video ni tuma YouTube for the be ma na wa hwe ya na chese wonya news ache abribia ne sent no meso so ben sa ma muhia comment section honom ye wodia meso so be boawura honom ko na kwa kenkan de nkofo atwere gu honom wonso efo wadwen kire eto comment section honom nkofo so begibre no ba be kenkan na bibia so etimi ai kama meso bi wonso se obe like video we e de ama me hwe video na se like button na honom no oro nsa boso ebeboa ama no manyina etimi ai kama meso so be ni nyina e de abam yenko ne enjoy the rest of the video enfambra
Obabako na womo a womo wu apart from the wu nura no said womo si eka no womo nyina no na sebio womo efunu no okasa wo de wu ye bi hu bibia na yeje enti de ya no se me Burkina Faso aman no paying for no everything say okay abasa na we me na yeje enti ombeti na si womo enti womo si womo no na ye fa womo die ni said be eja minti but ye ma no ejina ho nti na no pe sorry modu a we bon yan se adisi a omo ho no kwan ya be Faso na ya me abo ya ma o mecha be o ma tuma be truki and ho se na ye me o ma so eda so hospital ho kwan ya be Faso na be a do ma babo kina wagadu na o ma tuma be nya aya sabia sebio ye papa sen ekura na omo no enti onia bodu mu aye bono enti me pese me fasa akwan we na me de se omo amuti na me so wo videos no bi ana pictures bi a me so obi di hye no abusu afọ kura no se ne ye yiri omo epen ho se omo because omo nam no omo ni omo kojo wonem se kojo mafo wonem no muntaka wonem se muntaka mubara enti edi no bako na omo maye se na woma bedu wagadu a ye no omo etna se agi omo nsem na ehu bebia nkrofo yekura free kroban no mo free e eheva na mo hia ya mo ko tomantosi asana etime ababusa no amane na se wo picture na wo di tu ho a fa na se wo na se ya beto na wo tv a wo mo na di wo di share picture to Facebook ana social media so se bi wa ana se wa shi ana se wa pra me se Ghana for se ya ye na ye nya hwiye na yam wasa da beya we ya abai ya dia edin pa and my sama ne yedin crack say emma ebusian.
Do they have any idea near emma we isi wo ho?
Purely the violent extremists are the omo because look, they took over that town. Almost the chrono FI for some hours But Burkina Faso army no remobilize, reorganize, reinforce, take back that town no within some hours. And idea tesi na kojo the hard dream pan say anything na Ben also mention President Mahama Frere West Africa heads of states Accra any security ministers in any foreign minister go share say look idea AC my yan twin so say oh we the Burkina na affect them we the Mali for na affect them we the Ghana we the Cote d'Ivoire we Togo yan try humbum na yan share intelligence na yentimi ending kita ho mbom na yembo omani na ho ban because yete hey ye busua ye nuanom obohu Mali ni wabetra Ghana wadane Ghana ni obohu Ghana ni wakotina Burkina sa wadane Burkina bi entino womutu coin ekoba womudidwa ekoba ana yankasa kora na Africa no yese yentan didwa ewo yentem enti sesa anyoma bo ye betimi abaso a also bebia obia no skilled obia timi eto anamo a wonhwe nechi enti yenkambom na omu na agitumu sese no ya sati say etutu ho hye na ya de nyoma twiye say be ya we share intelligence we reinforce each other we fight this violent extremists together because one train say ne bia abetu kojonti me say me fa me ho etena na abetu me ntaka ozo kojozo so emfa ho etenchi na akoto kwame na esa entino san hye ya President Mahama de abai a omo na aja tumi ye bompa ye say ye be simupi ama the whole West Africa na ye safe ama ye na because say the is koi osha de bia no we are losing about 88 West African citizens through violent extremism. And there's an average of 44 attacks across the what they call the Sahel every day. And violent extremism is there now. The epicenter is in the West African sub-region, and now the Sahel sub-region. And the idea here, Obibakasa say urgent attention. President Mahama, Koko say, we know, and ya idea back for unkwa bitimaya because say, oh yeah, na ye fanta Ghana ni Ghana for ye ni sa esimezi kwa. Na so omudu ane ba Togo a. Yentimi nko say no omu kokon Togo. Omudu ane wura Burkina, yentimi say ye no omu kokon ho. Sa na mosumu no omu ntimi beko. But ye na ikabomu a, then we are seeing them as common enemies and we are fighting them together. And Basana, they have no hiding place. And you know, and no sign, she said no, yet one of my bomb by saying, Kubomba, yet me, a Dimupi, Amagana, nay, the whole of the West Africa, are safe.
Sad news. Sad news, she said. Normally in Ghana, they are very neutral, or West African belt. Coupled with the fact that you need any presence of jihadist group, and I say extremist group, and a rebel group, and I say anything related to that kind of a bandit and other Protestants in Yenibiwaha. And can normally in Kebiwaha they are, then the enemies on the other side fighting against any of the group. Or more Ghanaian citizens, you are considered as enemy. But we share the way now. Attack no coordinating and what they did now I heard the statements genuine for no they are saying say the Ghanaian male or the Ghanaians in here they are enemies, which I find it very strange because genuine for no claim responsibility of the only Salafi jihadist group. Sahari jihadist group from Salafi form. Omni Ghana ni any sort. Yes, of course, home presence Burkina. Now omu Jamaat Nusrat al Muslimin. Omu tanko fono. Omu ye group via omu ye part of the Al Qaeda. And omu ye part of the Ansardine. First no omu ka Ansawad ho. And omu ti omu. And omu ko former Ansardine. And omu ko former Amurabitun. Amurabitun no. Omu say cruise ni na no omu war that time Libya south and I know omu war and na omu nyina Tuareg for no omu be gu Mali and omu gu Timbuktu na France for and this a problem we see na aba and he say omu a group France for a claim say Omoko fight with the jihadists, Omoko fight Al Qaeda, Omoko fight Taliban. Now Oma liberty France. But that turned out to be a lie. Rather than they use them to protect their territorial Timbuktu area, but they are minerals in one. Ekwa Kokofa the Niger side of the Mali border, and Uko the southern part of Algeria. Now Uko the northern part of Niger. Arlit, Asamaka, Agadas. That area holding now called the Mali side, you know. And then enough France for you, so they literally indirectly, no, and the sponsors our group. At the end of the day, no, mother group now is still Al Qaeda. I am from Akim Fono. At the end of the day, no, Messina Liberation Front as also part of group. It told me a measure. These boys, why I don't want anybody to use Boko Haram is even though they all trained with Boko Haram or Timbuktu. I want a Boko Haram 2002 image here. And Sawad image ho, Jenim Foni image ho. In the South Jamaat Nusrat Al Islam is Muslimino. Omuna a yet cell group no may Ghana for Nsa. Now listen to what they said. Say the Ghanaians are enemies. What do they do? Omu group no. They're only interested in human trafficking. Almost from weapons. They export weapons. And almost total money from the local authority. Almost drug trafficking. Now, one core issue is that they want everybody, every country in West Africa. Listen to this nonsense. They are more extremist group, no. They want every country in West Africa not to do anything to do with the West. In another breath, even France, they are against America, they are against French, they are against English. Mm-hmm. And whom do they support? And now, to the extent, sir, Omaba hitting Ghana from me where I sit and what we do know. And he said, they are trying to push the government of Ghana. Now the Western government, there will be a cry on the head of Western government. Say Ghana for Yamwa. Then that will give a base. France Becca said Yeba Ghana or frontier. That will send a very serious issue for this country that has never experienced the presence of any bandit or any of this ideological group. Call it Boko Haram, whichever. And Muji Nipa, a member group tomato can they just only perished all of them. And a managing. But the question is that the same Janim, Jamaat Nusrat for Omuko Burkina, baby Omo Pritin, Adentina, Saudum Kuma. They kill women, they kill children. They kill elderly people, they kill everybody. Attack Bienwa, Oma coordinate in any part of Burkina, any part of Mali, and then any part of Niger. Omung kum ema. Before such Chani, ever strike Beyoku, the other government, It was because Omuko one village, our Arlit area, Homom say Nipabu Manu to say the Ombashija, Ema. Do a cross and do at home, cross Chichomina, Nipa 40 in Trejatum. That angered Chiani, Ekachi, the central government said, we have the men. We have one of the second strongest army in West Africa. Yanko Bush, no Munkokum. And our president said, on to me a Momonko attack, military name Kokum. Minimum, I say, or nay, French president, Macron, Ekasa, na Macron, Adawinania. That was Chiani, our president, so the Buffy said, and me too, na Macron Yania, no from a French for Aquaquesa. That was the essence of Nigerku. And woman no mobile. Now, divisions, jihadist group no about the West African belt, Romo Hadeda, of course, Romo Mali. But Roma Ben border, and as Roma Ben, any part of the West African frontiers, France is also a key authority to now come back because they've been sacked from the Sahel. They've been sacked from Mali. They've been sacked from Niger. They've been sacked from Burkina. Omo pese omo beko. Enu no the engineer Tingiri. Kuna koyeno. Da abortive kuna Tingiri koyeno. Your friend say Benino. It was the same thing. It's the France that rather told him. And in effect here, so Uncle Ede, Uncle 2 Pascal. Now 2 Pascal. na Nkrumah say emergency Roma, but no many coordinating not na Nkrumah unleash attack on Niger. It's a coordinated plan. Ghana is being drawn in, and His Excellency the President and His Excellency the Special Envoy for the region, they should be very careful in dealing with this matter, because some of us have followed them, the jihadist group, so the Salafi jihadist group, Omi Al Qaeda, Omi Taliban. Look, who's now what is Adi we say? Amadou Kufamu. Some of them have lived in Ghana before. They have lived in Ghana before. Amadou Kufa, they have lived in Ghana before. They know Ghana.
Okay.
But Ghana no be any alignment. Yen Saudi Obia any terrorist group. The reason a terrorist group, jihadist group, Salafi groups, intimate possible. They say, your land then is not owned by the government. The land is owned by the individual families.
Okay.
And it doesn't allow anybody to go and stay in the bush. Anything how about bush in Marano, Obi Kwana Fumu who say new faces and conformity uniform. Then the alarm is created. And it has not been a good grounds for any coordinated organization since over the frontiers of Ghana. And I've mentioned and I've said several times that even under Jerry Rawlings, the time Kwan was sustaining about 19 coup d'etats, it was possible not because there be no any security. It's not true, no any security be. But rather, no, you can stage a revolution from the city. You can stage it from the bush.
Okay.
And the bush was not giving them access because to be offensive or cornerful. Now military uniform now will be 1 year. Oba Kroma no mbabo no mbabe face into bako. But the French culture and the French countries, they need some part of Nigerian land in Abani. That is why they stay and how they manage to fight the government, the central government. And to really a very sad story, hitting Ghanaians for the first time. I thought initially said they didn't know it was Ghana or they were Ghanaians. But this one, they said they are our enemies because they belong to a Western government. What is he telling you? A Western government, of course, Ghana, we have education. They can't tell us, young Konko joining Islamic school. Na young Konko fa, sa Abu Numan, or no, sa where your president, where judge for the Sharia judge, also be a no Konko fa Makaranta. That makes them extremists because they all can't show when we say the Ghana school singing intimate conquer Sharia, Ghana school singing intimate karate there, and there were no barbecue. That has been the basis. It is just a matter now. Only that, Sir Jenin, only that, Eliad Agali had persistently since the 2017 declared by the Americans, as what? A terrorist.
Okay.
One of the global terrorists. And they have money to do all this nonsense they are doing. But for him to tell the Ghanaians, and he said, whether they sadly in the cold-blooded killed and said, we are your enemies. Now washimoka, no washi tomato. What is it for? They are only provoking Ghana government. Okay. And if they are provoking Ghana government, the Ghana government indirectly will not seek for Western help. The moment the Ghana government seeks for Western help, we're talking about military base. Where will it be? The nearest airport, either Wa or Tamale. The moment you have the presence of with uniforms, in the French, etc., indirectly, we don't trust these Western allies. Okay. When it comes to what they want to do in the Sahel, and all these groupings, Jenin, and Sawad, and Sadil, and Maghreb, and Masina Liberation. Almost 14 rebel groups operating in the Sahel. Weapons require women. Niger, only seaport. Mali, only seaport. Burkina Faso, only seaport. Now ask me and tell me, where do they get their supply for them to be sophisticated to fight with the central government? How did they get their supply? What does it mean? It means that before overship weapons, a share of weapons in that kind of magnitude or that kind of sizes for operations are Al-Qaeda operating for all this, and somebody's nowhere than somewhere from a government in West Africa. And obey end user certificate, EUC, and they import weapons, and then under the darkness, no, they are woman. And the West African issue, as I've always said, we are the makers of our own troubles of all these rebel groups because they don't do the airdrops. Abrofuna and the weapons, a good edukoma woman. All the core flights in drop with the Mawu basis because Ghana port, Ayatama, and Atakwade, only the weapons. And the Tima cross Burkina, and the Akoma rebel group are fighting with Burkina. Where did they get their supply from? The central government in quite me short to supplier. How much more or not desert so? I only see or main seaport, only baby on your weapons. These are the terrible stories. And we know some of the governments in West Africa might mistake that we can put it on air. West African coastal belt. Ghana, Nigeria, Benin, and then Cameroon, Oma, Dacosta, Gambia, Senegal, Guinea-Bissau, the Costa, Oma di Sebi Mkwasa Sempe. What am I talking about? I'm talking about this Boko Haram ni Jenim ni Ansawad money group ni that group ni inano. They one way or the other. Omo weapons. Almost the central government, end user certificate, and they import weapons illegally. Baba, okay. So ask yourself. And Tokwa Boko Haram standing Nigeria, 1.2 million army force, the biggest army in the African continent, followed by Egypt, followed by Ethiopia, followed by Tanzania, followed by South Africa. Nigeria is the biggest armed forces. Are you telling me so Mustafa Bonkanu? Mustafa Yusuf, 22-year-old boys. These boys, Etimino comes from 2002, 24 years counting. Omuntimi defeat you. Meanwhile, the northeast Maduguri side, Wari side, and neighbor be a Gongola state running in Ano. Osha border with N'Djamena South in Chad, and then the northern part of Cameroon. Yes, Sahara belt. Because Cameroon in Nigeria forest no mutimino. Aya Mundu Garwa Gande Sa Mundu Garwa Ganderen Aonya Cameroon North any issue anymore. Infant the weapons cover. Into Boko Haram our Nigeria northern tip. So Sokoto side or call a Sopron Mali Japan Niger side. Into better into weapons in the fine. Find the Boko Haram supply. Our shoulder to air missile timidity. Flight to grab out with my to form. Tell me, said Ghana or who shoulder to air mizada. Sa hardcore artillery, Omutimi, and Mounto. It was only what we can hear. It must have come through port, or it must have come through air cargo. The air cargo na the bar. Yansa Musa West African governments in the set. Flight ben about airspace. And who said a France cargo, a military cargo, a passenger cargo. Mali, the airport, international airport, Bakuna, Bamako, Diana. It is what the cargo neba we Yemen or Bamako, customs in your. Or the ba Accra, Kotoka International Airport, airport a uniho. Yeni customs war. So the basic Lomé or no, and your airport in airport or no, customs in your. Or the Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire airport, Abidjan. And Bamako, one airport, Niger, Niamey, and your friend Burkina, Ouagadougou. Look one after the another. Dakar, on an airport, around Dakar. And they say, would any woman the coastal belt, Freetown, Guinea Conakry. Then you come to Monrovia. Then you come to Abidjan. Then you come to Accra. Then you go to Lomé. You go to Cotonou. You go to Lagos. Then you go down further to Lagos. Either you are going to Satomi and Principe, or you are going to Douala on the other side. And Port Harcourt. That lower side in the Euphrate, na Port, a slow no more. One they did work on the free Lagos, and it's in the call Nigeria North. Because
the BR my armed, and yes,
they are more sophisticated and armed more than the government. And to Mebusa said, ECOWAS 15-member countries, Motraho, and the BR, Moka, and a Boko Haram, more than the cost. We know countries in West Africa have used their end user certificate. Well, look. Oko Abuja, where the congregation of the West African states, ECOWAS, your security, your weapons, Ghana Army weapons, end user certificate, it is right there at Abuja. Nigeria for the Togo there, or be about other weapon beer from Europe, from wherever, or the. So if that is the case, young question a list. They import weapons. Young compare Amri, way of stock, all the West African countries, in the Gulf of excesses, women and him. Where did they get the supply from? Now, no, they are Ghana, overcome Ghana for. Say, a memano.
Nana cat in the enemies. Meaning said, yeah, where's the clear? Early January, and I say early this year, and in your signal, or upper west, so say Burkina should just be Yachu Mode, and no could lead to this, and
what you mean? I don't know the Burkina military at that time, the name Burkina military, and all your exercise. For whichever reason, once up to now, no, that particular action or that particular event, you know, explanations up to now, Ghana explanation. Ghana did not officially declare a Burkina army, and I said no Kejetia army, and I said woman can. Only what they said they rather informally, and I said they lost their way and entered into Ghana territory, which is a lie. Because the frontier is there. And the Burkina army may bear more.
Yeah.
And then exercise na no year. And then I say any of these Al-Qaeda operations in Ibi, and Oma started to say, almost bad the Ghana belt there, then we're in trouble because your security is not as strong as we see it. We are very good in information gathering. That one Ghana intelligence community, you can give it to them.
Okay.
But when it comes to information processing, we are poor.
Radio XYZ. Radio
we are very
XYZ.
poor to process information, but we are very also loud to gather more information, but process is less. And the only thing and the security forces and the Republic of Ghana government, one foreigners were with one car. Look, genuinely all this, you negotiate at a point. One must find out why would they say Ghana for a enemy?
Yeah.
And what you need Al-Qaeda biawaha. You need any of this operation biawaha. And you Ghana ni bia sunkokum terrorist group biawa border and so.
There be.
The bia Ghana and conform the Bemu and that's a terrorist group biawa hide na Ghana military accord this from there. Then it's a recipe for them to respond. Now they want an open confrontation because women bibia. Omiye detonating bibia omiye tabasino. They don't just care. Traffic, yankra, yama, doma sex slave, we shouldn't allow that. It's too early and it's too sad. So we'll be all cotton tomatoes. Now what Dakar and tomatoes or Dakar and so. No more gun woman down. No more imani in for. Move here, no more so many enemies. Your enemy. One driver would decide to say, already own me car. Look at how they killed him.
Yeah.
Look at how they killed him. And see, Ghana any enemy, Ghanaians any enemy. In terms of what? So all these things, that this or you know, France for actually.
Okay.
Western governments actually.
Yeah.
They are the people resourcing them. But me, Maka, said the weaknesses of the West African government and their chief surrender to the Western governments, every OMUC and airspace, these are the causes and how they drop weapons for these people.
Okay.
They lower the aircraft, they go under the radar because your radar, and apart from Ghana and radar, how even intelligence do we pick up? The radar will be able to know the flights on the airspace. But then when they lower, they go under the radar. Do we have that sophisticated intelligence to determine no flight be abaha? When you emergency or lower, no attack left a corner drop bush na boys na pofa. And a lot of them the catch a flight to do send the baba. Ghana a friends West African sea coast. See that's na the maumo. It's Jamaica then you Freetown, and then you Accra, and you Guinea Conakry, and then you Banjul, and then you Dakar, and then you friends Mauritania and Nouakchott. I hope they know what because we're Nouakchott, Omsu Omura Belsa, Omsu Nigeria for you do more yes. But when it comes to West African proper, going way down from your friends Dakar, the birds, about the Pim, Cameroon, aside, which includes Ghana,
Burkina de say Burkina abai was so okay, soja abai nyaba. Ntini ni mse biya at a point biya sankrofo ikrabe tu omuase. Ewura mo omugui filling station biya ni baby. Anasu motos a omuyisu na okay. Weapon kwa beya no omufaso a ewura ma
omuyisu motos. Eno mo agents. And a filling station biya we are empty. They can say, where do they get their supply of feeding? Because they can't walk. Omnia Russia mean 192 kilometers. I will assume. I will slow. They walk. They go by motorbikes. Motorbikes have to be filled. And a woman cars and Land Cruisers no using desert tiger. And in Nam Desert in Israel, who do our relative money and some Kane. And in Nam Desert in Israel, our Kobia Bears 500,000 kilometers over the Namo. Or Fele, or Didi, or Bibia Kama, or Chini Patin, William Deneko, and Brothers at Insudumco, Omo Camp, Omo base. And why and how? Gentimi,
but we come back to confirm the Nanu America for Bay or Nigeria say Omo fighters and Crofono, our Manka Sabaino.
Oma American for by and Ramusa. That side of Nigeria, Noko Sokoto, Omanka said himself. Boko Haram for ni side ho.
Oh, Samu.
They know so many ho. Master, we should be very careful with the Western government and how they do their things. We should be very careful. That side of Sokoto, Boko Haram for many ho. One more this side on the side. And the same Kabaka said Casina Krano, Casina ne your friend say Naja City ho any kogi any certain a hokrano ebehum kako wori muni sanya manyama no ho ye northeast I want no more pretty more enti baby ko to woman I find it amazing.
Okay,
they know where the Boko Haram is, where they are. Boko Haram is the side.
And Omanko
Mundu Omanko Garwa Omanko Gandere Omanko Gongola, Omanko, Esro Baby and Omokoe, Baby on Five Chibok, Baby on Saji Chibok Gas, no Edwin Coy. Oh, you know, go. Nancy Omama made uncle Niti attack. I'm a cheer classy for Nipa Bear, young for Manco. Daytime. Domokwan, on Saba and Befa, Bisa Befaka. The whole Domo pretty 48 hours. Nigeria, my uncle. Omia, she cloning in every answer and Nigeria.
Echo.
Who is doing who?
Radio.
Why you be?
And here, Semisaka say, you better once at a point. Agrano Pemedas for the lectures. Yeah, that's it. Why?
Namin come bro.
M. Radio XYZ 93.1 FM Kwasem Swa. We're international relations experts. Farouk Awahab and your friend and a pony in Indian Komokakra. Their course so Ghana for Kwakotun to Burkina. When ya Burkina Zebia Burkina